Why do I need to withhold payroll taxes as an employer? In other words, it seems like payroll is just like any other type of expense being very easy to record, payroll being something that is very difficult to record. Part of that difficulty is to withhold payroll taxes. Why is it that we need to withhold those payroll taxes? Why can't we just make the payroll to the employees and then have the employees have the responsibility of paying their own payroll taxes? In other words, why is it the responsibility of the employer to do what you would think would be the responsibility of the employees, that being paying your own payroll taxes as a requirement of being a citizen? It's our requirement to report and pay payroll taxes under our tax system. Why is it that as an employer, in other words, do we need to make those withholdings for the employees? You are correct that it's the responsibility of each citizen to report and pay their taxes. However, frankly, we don't trust each citizen to report and pay their taxes. Therefore, we require you to take from them what we consider ours out of their paycheck before they even see it. But why not force each citizen to report and pay their taxes rather than involve me as the employer? If it's the responsibility of the employee to report the income that they have and pay their taxes, why involve me as the employer and complicate things on my side when it's not, in essence, my responsibility? It's my responsibility to run the business, pay the employees as part of that, just like any other type of expense. It's then the responsibility of the employees to pay their taxes. That's true, but I have much more leverage over you to make you do what I want than I do for each employee. How? Your business revenue is higher. You have much more to lose. Therefore, it's easier to imply leverage on you than it would for each individual citizen. What would happen if I didn't make the withholdings? That would typically not be legal, and anytime we see something that is not legal, we see an opportunity to get paid through the implication generally of those precious penalties and awesome interests, those words that I love. Yes, but how would you know so that you can impose your precious penalties and awesome interest? Good question. Most businesses want to deduct wages. It's going to be a very large deduction for most businesses. If we see a deduction related to wages, related to payroll, without forms that would indicate the withholdings for wages and payrolls, those such as the W-2s, the quarterly 941 forms, we see an opportunity to get paid through precious penalties and awesome interest. Here's an example of a Schedule C that would be reported for a small business, a sole proprietor. You can see the line item, line 26, which has wages. It's going to be a fairly large deduction for most businesses. If we see a line item that says wages, we would expect to see payroll information as well, payroll forms, W-2s, W-3s, 941s. Okay, well, what if I reported the deduction elsewhere, like under that line item that says contract labor? So if we put the line item here under contract labor rather than under wages, what would happen in that case? Intentional misrepresentation of the taxes could result in us getting paid substantially through precious penalties and awesome interest, and could result in other penalties as well. Okay, but how would you know in that case? Typically, if you pay someone as a contractor, we often require a Form 1099 to be reported to us. If we see amounts in the contractor deduction without a Form 1099, we may see an opportunity to get paid. If we see large amounts in the contractor line item for a type of industry where we would typically think that item to be in wages, we may also see an opportunity to get paid. So in essence, there's a couple different ways we might consider whether or not we might potentially be paid through investigating a situation like this. If we saw something in the contractor line item and we didn't see any resulting 1099 forms, we would consider the fact that possibly there's somebody getting paid in the form of 1099s, and we want to know who that is so that we can go take their money on their side that they should be reporting as revenue. Or if we see there's a discrepancy in the type of industry that we are in, a very large amount in contractor wages or contractor line item, contractor deduction, as opposed to other type of companies in a similar industry, could be an indication to us that it might be an opportunity to get paid through mischaracterization of something as a contractor rather than as wages. And that could result in substantial penalties and interest. Thank you for the information. My pleasure.